Hey, Patrons, Mal, Olympus Reptiles, and it's time for Feed Your Fiend. Now, we started Feed Your Fiend just to be it was for those of you who are new, YouTube pissed me off, and in a rant, I'm like, well, screw you, YouTube, you can eat a dick. We're going to feed a snake every week on Patreon, since you're a bunch of assholes. Not Patreon. YouTube's a bunch of assholes. And that's how it started. But I'm really not the kind of guy that just likes to make snuff films for rats. So we try to make these somewhat educational and fun. But feeding is a big part of having snakes, right? You have snakes, you're going to feed them. Maybe you're feeding frozen thawed, maybe you're feeding live. But feed night, when you say, man, it's feed night, only reptile owners know what you're talking about. Or people with big families, I guess, and then they think you're going to the pizza buffet. But when you say it's feed night, reptile people get it, right? Like, oh man, that dude, yeah, I love feed night. And today we're going to feed something that I like to see on feed night. We're going to feed my girl Pandora. Pandora is a pastel head axanthic. She's given me clutches the last 2 years. She's mom to Zeus. And right now, she's not getting close to laying at all. But she has been feeding really, really, really hard. And so what she's doing is she's taking in all this food, and then she'll probably go grab it for us. That's typically what she does. So we're feeding her pretty good. Now, she's at the time and point where she may just stop. So I told Kurt, hey, let's do her because we got such a great feed response out of her. And Kurt's like, well, she probably won't eat now. So Kurt might be right. I'm hoping to get one more in her. Let's go. Now, I don't believe in power feeding. You feed an appropriate size meal every week. That's how you get to your goals. That's how you get your successful. Power feeding can have all kinds of problems. But she is a big girl. So her appropriate size meal when she's eating this hard is something about this size, which is about a large rat. She can handle that no problem. Let's see what kind of mood she's in. We'll just drop that in there. And we'll see what happens. Are you going to be shy? I know, I just cleaned a bunch of poop out of there for you. They also, when they're eating this good, they tend to lay Labrador Retriever size poops. And by that, I don't mean like a poop the size of what a Labrador Retriever could leave. It's literally a poop that is the size of a small Labrador Retriever. So let's see if that rat comes forward. Now the nose is working. Now she's like, oh, what's that? What's going on with that? You can also see that snake is taking on that same very, very nice look for an old adult pastel like the other one did. So I'm hoping we're kind of going into glow and getting close to that point where we'll build, ovulate, and go. But right now that rat's back there hiding because, well, that's what they do. Don't start digging in the substrate. I hate when you guys do that. You guys literally will ruin a tub for me by doing that. Come on. Out front you go. Now we're looking good. Or not. You had your chance. You missed it, girlie. Don't look at me like that. It's going to come back. Don't be sad. Oh, fine, I'll get it for you. Okay, one more try up close. Really? 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 That's how we're going to play that. You're going to be that way now. Alright. I'm going to close this up and hope something happens while we're in the dark. And say Kurt looks like he might be right this time. Kurt, who else has been eating really good? The females has kind of been slim pickings, honestly, because it's getting to that point in the year where we're expecting them to all do great things. But we have had some of these guys get to eating pretty well. So why don't we put these huge rats up, and we'll start with some other ones. You got some smaller ones over there you can kick my way. Oh, you're not even in there yet. So what we got is we got a snake that's out breeding. So I'll have to find where I stuck him. And that would have probably been, you know what, I think he is with your guys' pairing. He is. But he is not breeding now. Look at that girl, though. She's going to go. We put him in here. And we're going to introduce some food. See what happens there. Now, some of these males, I kind of go the opposite this time of year. We go small meals. Small meals, a lot of times, will get these breeding males going. Since I just took him out of a girl's tub, he is likely to not feed for me. Are you? As a matter of fact, I have zero confidence in him feeding for me. So we're going to go ahead and just close him up. I will show you a girl that I think will feed for me, though. And we're going to go with the bigger rat on that. About right here. This is a girl I've been really happy to see start feeding for us. That's this girl right here. If you remember, we got her and it took her a while to get going. But she's been going really good now and been eating like a beast. Until, of course, today. Why are you all camera shy? You took it pretty much out of my hand last time I put something in there. Now, let's talk about Spider while we got it. And do you see how when she's looking at that food, her head was just slightly tilted sideways? That can be what some people will consider wobble. Now, that is not anything that's going to change this snake's quality of life at all. Nothing. Like, I'm still a little bit perturbed over some of those things coming out. Don't you get away. Get back in there. Sometimes you gotta snoop boop a rat. Come on, you guys are making for a very, very boring video. Make this video exciting. Go make this video exciting. Don't look at me. Let me close you up for a few minutes too. Got one more we're gonna try here, and then I'll have to just figure something out. And this is the one right beside her, which is another spider. This is our spider clown. And you can see she's really excited. She's going to feed. Okay, where's it at? She eats like a boss. So I'm really hoping she's going to be ready next year, and I think she will be. You might get lucky. She might press this. I don't think she's got it in a good spot. Pressing is the coolest thing to see. Ball pythons in the wild, you know, they'll be in those termite mounds. So what they'll often do is if something runs along the termite mound in a thin area, there's a good bite around the face, they will actually take their body and just press it against the side of, so like this was a mound and the rats are here and they're here, there's not a lot of room for them to do that. They'll just take their body and slam it and press it against the walls of those termite mounds and push and effectively do the same thing they're doing now, just using that area with them pushing against it to get that compression and kill their prey item. I have seen it in captivity. You don't see it very often, and the reason is when they press on here, this all flexes. They don't usually get the same feeling that they need to get. When you do see them catch one and just go, "Wha!" and press it, it's pretty awesome. Like to see that behavior, because it's something that they would do in the wild that you're then getting to see in this captive environment, and that is really cool. So, there it is for Feed Your Fiend. Let's check back on the other ones we did to see if we got lucky. Kurt was right. We may have hit the end of her feeding so good. And that kind of makes sense. Let me pull her out. I'll show you why. Because as you're looking, I know you've had a rough day. But we're going to show you off. You can start to see that thickness coming in the bottom here. How thick she is. And I just cleaned out a massive poop. And you're starting to just see a little bit of that triangulation starting. So what I'm hoping is we're going to ovulate, and then I'm hoping this girl will give me a bunch of eggs again. She laid, I think, 9 last year, and last year we got our super pastel exanthic male out of her, and the year before we got Zeus out of her. So every year she tends to give me something that I've been really chasing. And of course, this year she's been bred back to Zeus, and so we're hoping for a killer zebra bee. The odds are long, but she's been great. So let's see if she can hit one more out the park for us. All right, we got one more snake to check on, so we pulled that out. You have not got that. Well, you have not got yours. So we'll go ahead and pull these out. You know, and a lot of people, too, this is just crap you'll see in other places. I mean, none of you say this, but I don't really care to defend myself to a lot of people because I just don't give a rat's ass about them. Ha! Get it? A rat's ass. But for you guys, I want you to know why I do what I do. I've had a few people who will not very many, who will complain that to do just what I did, where I'll take a wrap, put it in the tub, and close it. And they're like, oh, you're not viewing it. So you can hear what's going on. Are you taking a little bit more risk doing that? Yes. Is it calculated? Absolutely. Why would we do that? Well, these guys are nocturnal. So like you see a lot of them doing on a camera, we'll close up, you'll hear them eating. It's the same kind of thing. If I've got a snake tub open and I'm sitting there staring at it, it's not always going to eat as well. And getting these things to eat effectively for breeding purposes is a major thing. Completely missed. So by putting that in there, making it a nice dark enclosed environment like what it would look for, we have a higher success rate of feeding. And we go back through and check everything, and you can see we don't leave things in there for hours. When you see the horror stories of a snake getting massively chewed up by a rodent, and what you see on the caption is, oh, person used a live feed and this is what happened. It has to be monitored. It does have to be monitored. That didn't happen in 10 minutes. Didn't happen in 20 minutes. Didn't happen in an hour. To get to that point, you've left that thing in there for probably a couple days, if not at least minimum a day. When you're putting these in and you're checking them within 20 minutes and then you're pulling things out, the most you're risking is a bite. And when you're standing here, you're going to hear that because that snake's going to thrash. They don't like being bit, and you can pull that rodent out before you really have any damage. So just a thing. That's why we close the tubs, is for higher success rate of feeding. Kurt, anything you want to add to this Feed Your Fiend?
No.
All right, guys, we will see you. I'm going to show you one thing. She just ate, so we're going to be very, very gentle with her. But she also just shed. And I'm hoping to produce some more of these this year. And I could not be happier with the snake. And the lesser pastel GHI we're working on should be smoking. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.